And we are live. How to awaken your sexual energy in motherhood. This is a very important conversation to have. As women, as mothers, it's very important that we talk about these things. And so you clicked on this video because you are a mom or you are planning to become a mom. Maybe you are pregnant. Maybe you've already had your baby. Maybe you have several children. Maybe your children are grown and you're just like, what is this? What is the tea? Why does my sexual energy change in motherhood? And we are going to debunk some myths. I'm going to be explaining exactly what happens in motherhood to our sexual energy, why it might be blocked, why it might feel different, and some very practical ways to release the blocks, very practical ways to unleash and awaken and tend to and cultivate your beautiful sexual energy as a woman and as a mother. So I was listening to Anita, who is a Brazilian artist who I love and adore. And she was doing an interview with this guy, and they were talking about sex. Let me know that you can hear me. Please let me know in the chat that you can hear me. So they're talking about sex, and she was like, yeah, all my friends with kids, they don't want it anymore. And she was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But they just tell me they don't want it anymore. And the guy was like, "Oh, I can research and I can figure it out and I'll do it." And I was like, "No!" I'm screaming at my computer like, "No, Anita, I know why. I can answer this for you. I know what to say to your friends. I know what the answer is. I know what women go through. I am a woman. I'm a mother. And I too have gone through my own journey, which I will be sharing in this video, because I think there's a lot of healing that happens when we share our stories and we understand that we are not alone. So please, let's normalize this, that in motherhood, in transitions, big transitions in our life, it impacts us the way we express our creative energy and the way we express, especially our sexual energy. All of that changes and it shifts and it's normal. So, we are going to go over the main three blocks that I see that women have, they hold when they become mothers, that block their sexual energy, and how to release them. Does that sound good? Let me know if that sounds good to you. This is going to be an interactive conversation. So, yes, here we go. I'm going to start with my own story because I believe that it's very important that we share our stories. This is a very intimate story I'm sharing on the internet. However, we're only here for however long we're here. And if my story and my journey can somehow uplift you, inspire you, or let you know that you're not alone, then I believe that that is serving its purpose. And I believe that that will help us all on our journey. We are meant to be in community and sharing our stories and letting people know that you're not alone. So, in my journey, when I was prior to becoming a mother, when I was with my partner, prior to us becoming parents, we were very intimate. was it was very free flowing, effortless, happened on the daily. It was just as easeful as breathing. It was on and on and on and on. You get the picture. And so when I first became pregnant. And during my pregnancy, I actually became very, very sick. I got severe preeclampsia. And because I was very sick and because I was literally throwing up multiple times during the day, I couldn't work. I just really wasn't myself. My body had taken over and it became something else. Some foreign entity felt like it was just taking over my body. And that was very disheartening for me because I was a professional dancer. So my body and my work are integrated, they are one. And I was very in tune with my body, and my body was my instrument for expression. So you can imagine what I'm going through mentally, physically, spiritually to not have that connection to the instrument of my creativity. I just wanted to lay down all the time. And so, fast forward again, I gave birth at the height of COVID. I do not recommend. And anyone that understands, you know that giving birth in general is very life changing. And then having a whole global pandemic on top of that, and then giving birth for the first time. I don't know what I'm doing. And I have to be relatively alone because I'm scared of everything. And so, because I was sick, I had to have an emergency C section, and my baby was delivered early. So, emergency C section means you have a huge surgery done to your stomach. As you know, it's deep, it cuts deep. And so, needless to say, my body had gone through a tremendous transformation very rapidly. On top of giving birth during this time, on top of a sickness, on top of emergency C-section, on top of having to have a baby stay in the NICU. So you can imagine my body began to be very contracted and I was completely disconnected from my body. And it took me a very long time to, after giving birth and becoming a mom and getting into my rhythm, it took me a very long time to even feel like myself within my body. And for many women, regardless of your birth experience, you do have to reintroduce yourself, to your body after giving birth because she changes, because you transform. You're no longer the woman that you were prior to getting pregnant. And you almost have to reintroduce yourself and reintroduce yourself to your body. I did not know this. I believe that because I had such a deep connection with my body, I would be able to just, do what I used to do, which is do my yoga, my meditation, my Iyengar, like do my thing, and 6 weeks I'll be back. That's what I thought. And the mourning of that, the grieving of that, that was a much longer process for me. And so in that time, I was in contraction, mourning like this loss of like not being connected to my body, but also the mourning of I was no longer who I used to be, and I didn't even know who I was. And I didn't understand that I was supposed to change and become someone new, but I was still comparing myself to the Maya of the past, comparing myself to the Maya who didn't have a baby. And in that comparison, there was even more stress and strife because I could not get back to her. And so, because of that, the contraction, the disconnect from my body, the all the stress of everything of life, of giving birth early and sickness, I had no desire for intimacy. I had no desire for intimacy for the first time. And of course, that puts a strain on your own confidence. It puts a strain on your relationship. And you wonder, like, who am I? This is not me. So let me know if that resonates for you, because that was my journey. Now, being on the other side of that, I have two babies and a very different relationship to intimacy and a very different relationship to my body. I have come into know this new Maya and come into myself and my body in a new way, in a very rich, deep way, integrating both the mothering side of me and this new era of my life, and also weaving that with my own intimacy and sacred sexuality. And it's been a journey, but I'm here to share with you heart to heart what it takes, what I went through, and hopefully this can inspire and uplift you in some way, because this is very taboo topic. Yet so many women are affected by it. I see so many women online and in person and in my clients going through very similar things. And so you're not alone. So a lot of the problem is also just being in this in between stage. So in society, maybe this is you, but I grew up into a Christian family. And in Christianity, of course, you have the Virgin Mary. And so there's this idea of purity, of virginity, even though virginity doesn't even mean anything connected to sexuality with regard to that. It actually means a woman who is sovereign and belongs to herself. But we'll save that for another video. But this idea of like virginity and purity, and even growing up, I remember because I grew up in the 80s and the 90s when all we were taught is like safe sex and don't get pregnant, and it was very much like don't do it, it's wrong, it's bad, it can hurt you. There was so much fear regarding that, and you didn't want to shame your family. It was just so much shame, so much fear, like it was just bad. And then you get to be older, and then the family's like, "Well, where's your babies? Like, why aren't you why aren't you doing it?" And so the expectation is to go from not having it to getting married, and then being like, once you're married, you're just supposed to be a sex goddess, and you're supposed to just know all the things and how to do it, and to be yearning for it and open for it and ready for it all the time. That's a big transition mentally, physically, emotionally. Like to go from no, it's wrong, it's bad, to come on, partner, and just be ready and be a sex goddess every day. Let me know if this resonates for you. So then after that, when you're no longer the young virgin pure and you're a mom, but there's no explanation for the integration of like motherhood and sexuality and yearning and intimacy and connection and desire and what you want and your libido and your own needs. So it's framed in such a way that there hasn't been space for this idea of a mother and in her desire and connecting with that. And so another problem is that And I will get deeper into this. But another problem is that we just are not taught the feminine way of lovemaking and intimacy and sacred sexuality from the feminine. Most of our grooming or our education around it is coming from our partners. And for the most part, not always, but for a lot of it, those partners are just getting all the information from porn. And porn is such a low vibration, very limited, very disconnected form of it's just entertainment, but it's not true intimacy. And it is just based off of and is centered around male sexuality for the most part. And then there's also like sex traffickers and all this like really dark stuff in there. So if you have a partner who has like that's their history, they watch porn, then most likely that partner is probably terrible in bed. I don't know how to say this the right way, but they're going to be very limited. They're going to have an idea of what lovemaking is in their mind because it's been programmed in their head, and that's the way that they're gonna just act it out. It's just in a box, it's a performance, but it's not real. It's an idea, it's a script, it's a box, it's just an idea. But real true intimacy is this awakening and this awareness, and it's a spark, and it's co-creation, and it's energy, and it's feeling, and it's sound, and it's motion and creativity. So that's what I see going on. Let me know if this resonates for you. Let me know if you are feeling what I'm saying, if this is like making sense. Okay? Welcome to the chat. So, the first problem that I see, huge block, what happens with women is that when you become a mom, very common, again, not to knock you, this is just what happens, is that you get into a very nurturing, caregiving vibe. You become the caregiver. You're literally produce a baby and now you're responsible to keep that beautiful baby alive. It's a big responsibility. We go into these caretaking roles where we're taking care, we're nurturing, we're feeding, we're making sure that everyone is okay. And because you go into this caring, nurturing vibe, you go into caregiving in other areas of your life, including intimacy. So you become the caregiver, the giver, the nurturer, the one who is giving in intimacy, and you're centering the intimacy around your partner and their pleasure without your regard for your own, without remembering your own, without this, it's all centered around them. And you're leaving yourself out of the equation because everything else has been centered outside of you. And you're just like, I'm a giver. I make sure everyone is okay. I'm giving, I'm caregiving, I'm nurturing. Are you okay? Are you okay? You need more. It's that vibe. But when that translates into intimacy and it's centered only around your partner, it can cause you to not want to do it anymore. It could be late laborious, it could be like labor, it could be like work, it could be like, ugh, it's another thing I have to do. And I see this so much on social media when they're like, people think they're being funny and they're like, oh, when I tell my husband he can get some, and you see the guy like lurking in the back. Again, it's centered around this is something I'm supposed to give. This is me being a dutiful wife, the good girl. It's centered around their pleasure, what they want, but there's no room or no conversation around, well, what do you want? What's your desire? Are you exhausted? Do you even have the energy? Like what's on your heart right now? What would make your heart sing? What would make your body tingle? And so I've even seen this a lot, even too, in like family members when they talk about marriage and they talk about like the woman's role. And it's because it's like the same as like thought of the same as sweeping the kitchen, you know? It's just something that you do. You have to do, you have to give, you have to provide that. And I question that because it's again, it's this idea that we don't want it, we don't have our own desire, that we don't have our own yearning, that we don't have our own eros, that we don't have our own like yearning, that we don't have this energy, this creative force, this vitality, this eros that it's a pulse that runs through our body. But what happens is being the good girl or being disconnected from our body, oftentimes we can connect our energy in so many different places. It's very scattered. We say yes to things without thinking. We commit to things without thinking, getting into people pleasing vibes. And so, because the energy is scattered, because it's giving, it's coming out, it's pouring, it's giving, it's nurturing. That's a disconnect from our body. We don't even have the energy to connect to our eros, to connect to that desire, to even have that yearning. So, the feminine, and let me know if this is you, but we love to be centered in lovemaking. We love to feel cherished and honored and a healthy expression of worship, healthy expression, nothing cringe, but a healthy worship, a healthy cherish of our energy, cherishing our energy that's centered around our pleasure and our needs. And so when it's centered on the partner, it can feel depleting. And if you continue in this cycle, that will then block your sexual energy because you'll be like, oh, it's just like work. I don't, it's centered around them. I don't feel like doing this because I'm not even here. It's a giving, more of a giving act. Let me know if this resonates for you. Second block. Block number 2. Ooh, this is a big one. This was a big one for me. So it is the self critic. So when I had my first baby, I blew up. And prior to that, I had most of my clothes, I got it in either Brazil or Colombia because in Brazil and Colombia, they have amazing high quality manufacturing for like the type of clothes I like, the tight clothes that I wear for dancing and stuff, and they have beautiful little sets. So I would get my clothes in Colombia and I would get my clothes in Brazil. And it's only one size. It's one size. You better fit into that size. You gotta squeeze up in that size. But when after I had my baby, I just didn't fit that size anymore. The majority of my clothes I couldn't fit. I couldn't fit yet. And I was so distraught, so frustrated that I would look in the mirror and I was like, I can't even recognize my body. Like, who is she? Who is this? I had my C-section scar and like all this going on, with preeclampsia, you swell up really big. And I could not recognize myself. So I took all of my clothes. That's why postpartum women are not supposed to be left alone. I took all of my clothes and put them all in one bag and I threw them away. I had no clothes because I couldn't fit them and I didn't believe that I would ever be able to fit them again. I'm so mad because I could definitely fit them now, but alas, it's okay. It's okay. So, block number 2 is the self-critic. Do you, after motherhood, have this critic in your mind that's constantly pulling you down, saying mean things to you about your body, comparing you to who you used to be? Let me know if that happens to you. You judge yourself. So when you have this critic in your head that is not nice, that is judging you and talking smack and telling you negative things about your body, that is going to block. That's going to dry you up because that critic's voice can be very loud, it can be very harsh, it can be very damaging. And so part of the feminine sexual energy is to be turned on by yourself, is to ignite this fire within you. But when you have a critic that's pulling you down, when you have somebody that's speaking negatively about your body, you're not going to be able to tap in very deeply to your sacred sexual energy. There is so much going on in the media about snapping back, about how women should look. There's a lot of distortion. There's a lot of images out there and we hold those images in our brain and we hold those images in our subconscious and when we look very different from those airbrushed images, we judge ourselves and say not nice things. So this self-critic, this number 2, let me know if this resonates for you. This critic is blocking your flow because that person, that pre-baby you, she doesn't exist anymore. She's gone forever. And that's okay. It's a good thing. So have you ever heard the story of Maya Angelou, who is my namesake? And one day, I am paraphrasing, but she was bathing in a river in a country in Africa, and she didn't have any stretch marks. And the women were commenting and saying, I'm so sorry you don't have stretch marks, because to them, and they were genuinely like felt bad for her because for them, the stretch marks was a sign of beauty because it meant you went through that rites of passage of motherhood. It was beautiful. And so, even if you think about or you want to research Shaka Khan and the way she holds, she has her C section scar, she loves it. She talks about how she loves her, that's where her baby came from. And so, to honor your body is to honor it just as it is right now, not pre baby, not airbrush BS online, but to honor your body and what she produced, your beautiful baby. And to have that gratitude of like, thank you. You know, things look different, things hang differently. And in other cultures, that's a sign of beauty. It's a sign of your rites of passage. And so, one of the things I do, like with my C section scars, I decorate it. I put my waist beads around it. I celebrate my C section scars, where my babies came from. It's a celebration and it's just a sign of my own journey, my own rites of passage. And that's how I choose to honor and beautify the body that I have now that I'm a mom. And so helping to really just dim that voice of the critic. Shh, put that volume down because that critic is not helping you and it's not helping your libido. And the last one, very important, block number 3, very, very important, is that we don't know how to make love as a woman. Again, going back to what I talked to about before, is that you're learning probably from your partner who probably learned from porn, but not knowing that female sexuality is very different from a male sexuality. Female sexuality and the way our bodies respond to desire and yearning and the way that we awaken in arousal and our arousal path is different. So when you're trying to make love as a man, it will block you. It will block your sexual flow. When you try to be goal oriented and just getting to the goal and going fast and da 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 da, not saying you can't switch it up every once in a while, but for the most part, understanding that if you are a mom, what happens is when you give birth, your brain is now connected to your baby. Your brain literally changes because of evolution. Your brain is now connected. Now you have new thoughts that are connecting to the child. You're now thinking about, is my child hot? Is he cold? Does he eat? Did he eat enough? Did he sleep enough? Is he sleeping? Like you have all these extra thoughts because you're connected, because of evolution, you're responsible for keeping this beautiful baby alive. And you have a very deep physiological connection, and the baby is connected to you, and they can almost sense when you're not thinking about them. So when you start thinking about your husband or your partner, your baby can sense that if they're not asleep. So there's this deep connection to your baby going on. But there's also a lack of education around female sexuality, understanding that the feminine evolved with a different, slightly different brain. And we have more of a diffuse awareness. So we have more awareness of the space. Like I'm sitting here right now, but my awareness is very expansive. I'm sitting here, but I can also feel the energy. My kids are over there, and I can feel like if anything's going on with them, something's I can feel it even though I'm sitting here. I can feel my energy goes out. For the masculine, for the most part, that energy is very much concentrated and again, it's focused more inward. But when it comes to sexuality, if you have this expansive, diffuse awareness, it takes longer for the feminine to come back into the body and especially into that yearning, the desire, the intimacy, the sexual desire. It takes longer, for the most part, for us to warm up. And it takes longer for you as a mother, especially a new mother, to get out of the mommy brain and back into your own body, your own experience. And so explaining that to your partner, that if the expectation is for you to be just like you were before, prior to babies, and then feel bad and compare yourself, no, 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 no. Your whole brain, your whole physiological makeup is different. Therefore, your sexual expression is different. And so we cannot make love like men. Making love like a woman is not goal oriented. It takes longer to warm up, but once you're warm, you stay warm and can have multiple orgasms and all types of good stuff. I can get into that in another video, but our brain is different. And one of the most important things I want you to remember is that a safe body is very important to the feminine in order to open up into sexual arousal. You cannot open to sexual arousal if you do not feel safe. The feminine must feel safe in order to open. It's the same thing when we give birth. Why do some women all of a sudden the birth will stop? Because somehow in her body she does not feel safe. And what do? They start, giving her Pitocin and all types of things, trying to override the body as opposed to slowing down. So remember, our bodies are ancient. We have the same physiological makeup as our ancestors from thousands of years ago. So much has changed with regard to culture, the way we relate to each other, our lifestyle. We're on computers now, we're sitting down. We used to stare up at the moon and look at the night sky and study the celestial bodies of the sky. Now, living in New York, I can't even see the sky. I forgot there's stars. When I went to Hawaii, I remember there's stars in the sky. Like I forgot, honestly. There's no stars in New York. It's just skyscrapers, light sirens, and all that. So we used to stare up at celestial bodies, and life was very different. So the feminine sexual nature, for the most part, is much slower. Our society is fast. We got Amazon Prime, click, 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 TikTok, click. Like everything is super, super, super fast. That's our culture. But your body is just not a microwave. She's an old, delicious wood oven. You need to go and you need to chop the wood mindfully, like all of these things, and build the fire. Like when your partner takes his time or her time and honors you and cherishes you, kisses on the forehead, on the back of the neck, on the back of the knee, like all of these things really matter to us. It's just as stimulating as anything else. So, honoring that the feminine in her arousal path takes much more time than the masculine. We have in our body, I forgot to mention this, I am a fertility awareness educator and a sexual health educator. Okay. I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. Alas. So, our body, right? We have in our yoni, we have two sets of lips, the inner labia and the outer labia. And then we have our lips in our mouth, right? So, two lips down there, one set of lips up here. Out of all those lips, there's only one set of lips that can lie. Only one set of lips that can lie. And it's these ones. Meaning, your body, if she don't like it, if she doesn't want it, if she's not ready, she's not going to lie. She cannot be forced open. You cannot force these things. But what do? Some women, they override their body. They just slap on some lube and just get to going instead of taking the time to open, to feel safe, or to be like, nah, not today. So, understanding that, honoring the wisdom of your body, honoring how your body communicates. She's speaking to you, and we need to listen. So, now let's get into the juiciness of it all and the solutions, the elegant solutions I have for you as a mommy so that you can get back into your arousal, your intimacy, your sacred sexuality. The first thing that I do daily is to understand that sexual energy takes tending to. So it's even acknowledging and even putting it into your self-care practice, making it a priority that it deserves tending to. So the first tip of how I do it every single day is I give myself a breast massage and a yoni massage. So these are two ways that I take my time. It's very intuitive. I use organic coconut oil and I massage my breasts and massage my yoni. And I just send so much love to these beautiful areas. It's an intuitive thing and I do it in a way that feels good to me. And so, what this does is it helps me to connect to my body, it helps me to tend to my sexual energy as if stoking the fire a bit. It helps me to bridge this self acceptance and awareness because I'm like showing my body love and loving her unconditionally. I'm also what as especially with the body, with the massaging, that's how your body emits more oxytocin, which is very important. That is the love hormone, it's the bonding hormone. But it's very, very important, especially for modern women, because what oxytocin does is it pushes out cortisol. Cortisol is released when we have a lot of overwhelm and a lot of things going on. So that oxytocin, baby, you feel very good, very grounded. And if you can offer that to yourself, it will absolutely change your life. So self love, massaging daily. That's number two. What you're going to do is how you're going to shut this critic up is you're going to get some cute underwear. And this underwear is just for you. Not for anyone else. Don't go and take some cute pics in the underwear and send it to your partner. These underwears, cute underwears for you. Or extra, if you want, you could just do this completely naked. But what I want you to do is I want you to get some really cute underwear and I want you to stand in the mirror and admire yourself. This underwear is for you. And I want you to let that critic go and say positive things about yourself. Really study yourself. Look for the thing. Like, you know what? My kneecaps, they're beautiful. Whatever you can find. And then more and more with practice, you will have more and more things, positive things to say. You have to train your brain to see the beauty, to see the positive, because our brain might be trained to have that critic go and say, that's cellulite, and you're looking at all the things. The first thing you're going to do when you see yourself in the mirror in those cute panties is you're going to compliment yourself. You're going to look for the good because when you look for the good, that expands it. Your brain will start to see more good. Your brain will start to see more beautiful things about your body, more beauty within yourself. I personally use, Rihanna has the Savage Fenty. She has a membership. I have the membership because I don't really have time to shop. And so I just go and I get really cute stuff for me. And she has really cute stuff. It's cute. It's like so different. Definitely my style, exotic little animal prints and different things. And you could get fun with it, but it's for you to enjoy your body because you, women, the feminine is the literally the cup. When you want to tap into your feminine energy, think and embody the cup. We are receptive, but it is not depending upon your partner to fill that cup with for sexual energy. It's you filling it first. Understanding what do I like, what do I don't like, what is beautiful about my body, and giving that to you first. Don't depend on it from other people because other people will follow suit, but you cannot just be depending upon them because it is putting all of your power outside of you. So you're gonna go, you're gonna get those panties, you're gonna say positive things about yourself. If you want to be naked, you can be naked, but look in the mirror and just admire God's beauty. Admire Become your own muse. Become your own muse. Paint yourself. I've done this before, paintings of myself, but look at yourself, admire the beauty, and more will come. So, the last tip for how to awaken and unleash your sexual energy while in motherhood is to tend to your erotic fire. So, all of us have a pulse within us. Some of us, this pulse is ice cold because we've just been overgiving, and it's natural too, especially if you just had a baby. Give yourself grace, give yourself time, and explain to your partner that you need a bit of time. Explain to your partner that what I need right now is to be held if that's what you want. Maybe that's how it starts, but communicating from your feminine desire that what you want. It's very easy to get into all the things we don't want. I don't want this, I don't want that. But for the masculine, if you are holding the feminine pull in your relationship, for the masculine, it's very important that you communicate from your feminine desire that what you want. But you have to know what you want. And in order to know what you want, you must tend to your own erotic fire. So, finding out what you like, what feels good, it is connecting intimately with yourself because you are a new woman. Even if you're going from seven babies to the eighth, or from maiden to mother, whatever that transition is, it is a transition. You're no longer the same. And so your desire is different. What you require might be different. What How long you need to warm up, or what turns you on or what doesn't, all of those things you must discover for yourself. Be in exploration, be curious, and have that attending to that world, attending to. And it can, if you just had a baby, again, give yourself grace because you're also going through your hormones, and your hormones are going to take time to find their rhythm. But once they do, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, it's all different. We're all different. Don't pressure yourself. It might just be starting with just holding yourself, putting your hands over your yoni and just saying a prayer, just speaking to her, just speaking to your body, just holding yourself. It can start as simple as that. But attending to your sexual energy is very important because that is your creative life force. That is a pulse. It's a vitality. It's an energy. It connects you to your radiance. It connects you to the energy that creates worlds. We hold that within us. And when we don't tend to it ourselves, and if we just think of it as, oh, this is the something that I have that I'm supposed to just give to other people, it blocks it, it diminishes it. That sexual energy is not just for other people, it's for you, mamita. It's for you. You to enjoy yourself, you to turn yourself on. Okay? It's for you as well. So, holding, giving yourself massages, doing different things to really ignite that fire and tend to that fire, and understand that that's a very important fire to tend to. When we talk about self love and we talk about self care, we must talk about tending to our erotic fire, especially as mothers, because that releases oxytocin. It calms our nervous system. It allows us to be in our creation energy. It releases all the cortisol, the extra overwhelm and stress we might have from daily life. So tend to your erotic fire. If you need help with this, I have Enchantress, which is my course that is all about the sacred sexual. It's all about how to tend to these things and healing as well. So, healing from anything that needs to be healed and different practices with jade egg work, breath work. It's a beautiful, beautiful, my masterpiece, my baby, Enchantress is in the description. It is deeply discounted right now for the equinox. Happy equinox, happy spring, happy new year. This is the true new year right now. So I wanted to gift you guys something beautiful and something you can use to truly change your life and change your relationship with your body and your sexuality and your expression. And so send this video to a woman that would love to hear this message. Send it to all the women that you love. And I will see you in the next one. Peace and love. Have a good night, everyone.